Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your co-host Reynoso here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, guys?
How are you guys doing? Let us know in the chat right now. What are y'all's reactions to today's game? We had three big matches with Italy defeating Albania, coming back, Spain completely demolishing Croatia, and then lastly Switzerland putting an end to the dark horse narrative of Hungary right off the bat.
Yeah.
Where should we start, my friend? Should we just go with the most recent game and then down the line, or should we start with the first game of the day?
No, I'm down for that. Let's start with Italy, Albania, because this match got off to a wild start. History being made with Albania getting on the mark 20 seconds into the match. What a mistake by DiMarco, by the way. I guess he just first game jitters, I guess, of the Euro, just throws it very casually to the back line of the center back, but nope. Albania gets it and smashes it right behind Donnarumma. Albania up 1-0. It was a wild start.
I was imagining Dua Lipa in that moment just losing her mind. I was thinking about her the whole game, man. Albania's finest right there. But they get the goal, and they just completely stun Italy with a beautiful finish going past Donnarumma. But then to me, the biggest takeaway of this match then went on to happen in the next 20 minutes with Italy showcasing that they can take this early hit and then completely bounce back with probably the best response you could ask for. 2 quick response goals in 20 minutes.
Yeah, the first goal off of a set piece on the corner kick, floating ball over to Bastoni, and he's wide open. Albania completely loses him. He puts it behind to make it 1-1 very, very easily. The second one, Barella with a beautiful reaction finish. Yeah, ball straight up ball. That was amazing to see, bro. Yeah. What a shot that he's able to generate from that opportunity. And within 15 minutes after conceding, it's 2-1 for Italy. And that was the thing with conceding so early. We didn't even get to see Italy's shape at the beginning of the match. They just started off down a goal basically, but 20 minutes into the match, the game kind of set itself up for Italy to just kind of take over here because Albania just couldn't get back into it, man. They really couldn't. It was all Italy from the moment that Albania scored that first goal. And Albania, it's weird. They didn't even have a bad game per se. I thought that they fought as hard as they could have. They were ultimately able to keep Italy just to a 2-1 margin. So Albania, I thought, had a great game, but they just couldn't craft any opportunities, man.
They got neutralized. I think ultimately they got neutralized because I'm looking at this Albanian team, and we spoke about the hype behind them going into this game and what their best traits are, what their strengths are, and it's definitely the counterattacking aspect. It's also the element of surprise, which is why if you give Albania, if you have a mistake, you give them the opportunity. They're going to take advantage like they showcase in the first 30 freaking seconds of the game. But then they show that once they have possession, once they're in control or having to create, they're not very good at that unless they catch you off guard or off the counter. And ultimately, Italy was really composed defensively about stopping all their potential attacks and just controlling and seeing this game out. So they really did win this game in the most Italian way, I would say, with just getting the lead and then just kind of staying put for the rest of the match and getting the result.
Yeah, because the second half, you could easily see that Italy kind of put their foot off the pedal a little bit, but they were still competing. They were still bossing the game for the most part. Albania almost got an equalizer, though, through Manai in stoppage time. That would have been crazy. Donnarumma is able to get a touch to it, ultimately keeping Albania at bay. That was a really big moment, but for the most part, as you just said, Albania could not generate any chances themselves, really, throughout that entire second half. I really applaud the effort, though. They tried so hard today, and I'm glad they did because the fans, dude, it was 90% Albanian. 90%. What a fan base that came out to support Albania today, and I'm glad that they were able to give them that goal at the very least.
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed after this performance. I wouldn't be able to, if I was Albania, I wouldn't be disappointed, bro. The atmosphere was crazy. Like the way they look in the stands, like I anticipated the Albanians would show out. Bro, they took over. They took over. I believe it was Dortmund Stadium. Took over and just showcased their love and passion. Now, I really like that. Looking at a comment here from Leon Danny, I assume he's an Albania fan. He says, for 9 minutes, I thought we were going to win the Euros.
Dude, it low-key felt like that, man. I was screaming when Bayrami smashed it to make it 1-0. I could not believe it. Because remember in the preview that we talked about yesterday, like, if there is a time to get in Italy's heads, it's in this opener. And the fact that the game started in the way that it did, I just couldn't believe it. But then we saw the class of the Italian team. We saw the class that they are reigning European champions, and they pretty much saw this game out from that moment on.
Yeah, I think without giving too much away, I feel like Germany showcased why they're contenders. I think Spain, we'll talk about them soon, showcased why they could be contenders. Do you think Italy today showcased themselves as contenders, or are they still just a formidable side that has a lot more left to prove, because ultimately this is the weakest team in the group in Albania?
Yeah, when you really look at it, this was a must-win for Italy. Yeah. If you did not win this game, then it's disaster. This is the only team where you're basically guaranteed 3 points, no disrespect to Albania, but knowing that you have Spain and Croatia awaiting you, this was a must-win game for Italy. They got the job done. Now I need to see them get actually tested on the defensive end, because, I mean, other than that stoppage time save, Donnarumma did nothing in this game. He didn't have to. So I really want to see the back line get tested a little bit more often, and that'll happen in the next 2 games.
Producer Red, give me a poll here. Are Italy contenders after this game? Yes or no? And while you're at it, give us a like on the stream. 5 stars on Spotify. We're going to be talking Copa America and Euros the next 30 days, bro, in full, as well as OFC Nations Cup, as you covered last night.
Yes, sir.
A lot of football talk happening. Thumbs up right now so we can get some more people into the live stream, so we can get the chat popping. We're about to talk about the headline game of the day, Spain versus Croatia, but I want to see the results for this poll. 75 to 80% saying no. Italy are not contenders. The people aren't fully convinced after this performance, and I think that's fair. I think right now they're just a really strong second-tier Italian European side. I want to see how they perform against Spain specifically, and then also Croatia to really determine if they're contenders in this tournament.
A few things that I really do want to highlight for Italy, because there were moments where they looked very, very good. And specifically, I want to talk about the center back pairing. We were wondering who is going to step up for Italy defensively this tournament. And it looks like Spalletti's gone with Calafiori and Bastoni as the center back pair. And I like it. I mean, Bastoni getting the goal today, but he was also immense defensively and also just as good defensively, Calafiori. And I really want to highlight this guy because he's had such a good season at Bologna. He had a great breakout year 2 seasons ago with FC Basel. And what makes Calafiori so special is that he's been able to actually adapt his game to the center back role. This is his first year playing as a center back, and he looks like an absolute natural doing it. And what I love about Calafiori too is he's a ball playing type of center back. So he's really comfortable with the ball at his feet, and he's really good at, just picking out passes from a deep lying position. He's really fun to watch. If you like passing center backs, Calafiori is one of the best at it. So I think center back wise, Italy looked pretty decent considering this is a new pairing.
Someone said Calafiori looks like the most 2000s Italian player of all time. Like he could have been in that back line by Maldini, bro. The way he has that long, luscious hair, he's got a look to him. But it was my first time watching it. I really never focused on his game, and he's really good, bro.
He's good.
He looked comfortable back there alongside Bastoni. Shout out Bastoni too, getting a goal in this game and just a beautiful header to tie the match and then going on to get the lead. Overall, Italy very solid in this game, and Albania, proud performance. Let's move forward to the next match, which was Croatia facing off against Spain. Chat, let me know, what did y'all think about the Croatia-Spain match? The one that I was most looking forward to today ends with Spain putting on a show, bro. Not 1, not 2, but tres goles in this game against Croatia. Bro, complete domination.
Complete, absolute domination, a thrashing, a demolition, whatever you want to call it, bro. This game was over by halftime, man. I couldn't believe it. When they got that third goal, when Dani Carvajal snuck in behind the back line off of a beautiful cross from Lamine Yamal, we'll get to him in a second. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, dude, this is a party right now. Spain is just dancing all over this Croatian back line. There's no chance for Croatia. There was no way they were getting back into this game. Spain were just 10 out of 10 performances from all around that pitch. It was a beautiful, beautiful game from a Spanish perspective.
But that's the best side, I think, is the fact that now Spain has, like we mentioned earlier in the previews, they have true cutting edge, but versatility offensively, bro. Like that felt different about this Spanish team. The fact that the midfielders and the forwards got involved in the goal scoring with Fabian Ruiz. Good Lord. He scored my favorite goal of the game, personally.
Dude. That
little 1-touch, 2-touch, bang into the bottom side of the net. Beautiful goal coming off of a really good assist he had to Morata straight down the middle. carving out that Croatian defense and scoring a beautiful goal off of a nice finish from Morata. And then Lamine Yamal feeding in Dani Carvajal. So many different assists, man. Pedri, I think, got an assist in this game as well. Like, there's just so many good moments overall. And I think that's a good sign for Spain because now they don't need to rely on possessing the ball so much. They're dangerous off the counter as well with these threats that they have offensively. And they're just a much more dangerous side now in comparison to the Spanish teams we've seen for like the past 4 years.
Exactly. In the previews, for Germany, for example, we highlighted the fluidity of these new players that they have, like Jamal Musiala and Florian Wirtz. We said the same thing about Spain with Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal. And then you add in the idea of Pedri, who's a little bit more experienced, but still incredibly young. And then you have a veteran striker to feed to an Alvaro Morata. You get a really exciting front four in the Spanish side. And we saw it on full display today. I was really curious in this match because I wanted to see it be successful. Because if it was, then I think what's the word here? It validates the idea that Spain can go all the way, bro. If Spain play like this in every match, yeah, sure, it might get tougher against a more defensive Italy side, but Spain can, I think, score against pretty much anybody if their front four is flowing like they did today.
Maybe Croatia's washed. Chat, let me know. Please do a poll. Is Croatia washed? Yes or no? Maybe they're washed, bro. Because what I saw today was really disappointing. Overall, if we're actually looking at it, though, I thought the center back pairing was awful today.
I think the defense was really bad.
Man. Sutalo and Pongracic, wide open. Looking at all three goals, the first one straight down the middle. Can't let a pass like that go through. Morata had already scored before he even shot it with how open he was. And then the way Fabian Ruiz cooked two guys at the top of the key like that also was a really bad sign. And then just a simple ball over the top. Granted, a beautiful ball from Lamine Yamal, but a ball over the top, you can't allow that if you're a defense. And then Carvajal gets on the end of it, and you can see Livakovic just be so frustrated with this defense. They had a bad game today, and I'm worried about how they're going to fare the rest of the tournament, specifically that center back pairing.
I agree. For me, I that's why I don't want to say Croatia's washed, because there was a moment before that first goal was scored where Croatia actually had majority of possession. Spain bossed the game for the first 15 minutes, but then Croatia actually fought back, gained possession, and it was just a midfield battle at that time. And Kovac, Brozovic, and Modric actually did a really good job at maintaining the ball, even though Spain was applying a lot of midfield pressure. But then it just broke. The back line couldn't help out the midfield anymore, and Spain just had a field day once they really exploit those spaces. So, yeah, for me, the worry is all on the back line for Croatia. And then if the problem is if the midfield can't trust their defense, then this whole team might just be kind of disappointed in their performance overall. And going forward, you just can't be confident.
Yeah, you can't. They had some chances. They actually generated a good amount of chances. They just couldn't put that finishing touch on it. And I agree. It just felt so open at the back. And the team's going to take advantage of that any day. 61% saying yes, Croatia was watched. 40% saying no. I think that's pretty close. Mateo Pegasus says, I put a parlay based on the analysis, and it looks like it ain't going to hit. Honestly, Croatia definitely played worse than I thought today. I thought they played worse.
But can we be honest, though? Spain's topping this group. They're the best team in this group. I think it makes sense that they beat Croatia. I also won't be surprised if Spain beat Italy either. I have Croatia getting out of this group, but they're not the best team.
I just wonder how they fare against Italy.
That's the one. That's going to be the one. And the thing is, they now have the data to look at and be like, all right, here's what we need to fix, or we are not beating Italy. And for Italy, it'll be interesting because, they had a very intriguing game against Albania. That Croatia-Italy game is going to decide everything.
I think that's why we put them in second place. I had Croatia defeating Italy, and I just wonder how Croatia would have looked if they faced off against Albania first in this tournament. I have Spain beating everybody, bro.
Same.
Spain beating everybody in this group, so it's not over yet. Alejandro Tiburcio says Spain looks like prime Barcelona. Today they did. That chemistry, that flow looks so beautiful. If you're Spanish, you must be feeling good after this victory because it was just banger after banger and just a really nice moment for Spanish football.
Dude, a really nice moment, and especially for Fabian Ruiz. Assist and a goal, but you got to love the man's style, truly. He's had such a interesting club career. Not that he's been poor, not that he's played at bad clubs, because you look at it, Real Betis, Napoli, now PSG. He has an insane resume, but I love to see this type of player succeed, and he hasn't really had that. He was unlucky with the team that he had at Napoli. This PSG side is this PSG side, but to see Fabian Ruiz at the highest stage, scoring a goal, getting a beautiful assist in Germany for the Spanish national team is a beautiful sight to see. see. And I'm just a big fan of Ruiz in general. So to see him pop off, it's a pleasure.
He popped off. Lamine Yamal, shout out to him. Youngest player to start a game at the Euros in history. 16 years old, 300-something days old. Ridiculous. And the fact that he actually got on the score sheet with an assist is just another sign of what this guy is. Fucking Riyad Mahrez regeneration, if you want. Like, this dude isn't coming up in the ranks. But I saw like a stat or like a number that projected his age. Dude, he's going to be 20 by the next Euros. 24, 8 years from now.
Oh, my God.
28, 12 years from now.
Oh
32, 16 years from now.
Bro.
It keeps going, dude. This guy's going to be like at 6 or 7 Euros.
Yeah, he's going to be he's going to break like record after record after record as far as longevity is concerned. That's insane.
I hope, man. I hope.
What's really interesting though about Lamine Yamal is I was curious about that. 16 years of age, making history, the youngest player starting at a Euros. I was wondering if the pressure was going to get to him. And I'll be honest, the first 30 minutes, he didn't really do anything. And he got a lot of the ball, but for the most part, Gvardiol actually shut him down in every possession that Lamine Yamal tried to penetrate. But he showed his young class when he got that assist because he didn't let him having a bad game affect his future plays. And I think that shows you how special Lamine Yamal really is because, any other 16, 17-year-old, if they get pocketed by a really good defender, they have the whole game being really, really bad. But Lamine Yamal, he ends up getting a beautiful assist, even though prior to that moment, he was a little quiet.
Yeah, he had the hockey assist to that Fabian Ruiz goal too, where they sent the ball out real wide to him and he played with it. He held the ball up so the midfielders could come up and join the attack, and that was also a really crucial play where I was like, okay, he's feeling it now. He's starting to feel it, and then he got that beautiful assist for the third goal. Spain looks really good after this game. Spain looks really good, and we'll just have to wait and see with Croatia how they perform against Albania and Italy.
Yeah, obviously Croatia have the talent. They're going to have to fix what happened at the back. I think it will be easier, though, because Italy and Albania, I think on paper, definitely have less effective offenses. So that's the only positive I can really give Croatia right now.
Hungary versus Switzerland. Let's talk. Chat, let me know, what did you think about Hungary versus Switzerland? Bro, let me just say this real quick because you realize how close I am to this Hungarian team and how excited I am for them and what I said prior to this tournament starting about Hungary. One of the worst feelings, man, as a man that makes football predictions, is seeing your dark horse get wrangled, taken behind the barn, and shot down in plain sight, man. Because the dark horse narrative, I'm not saying it's completely over, but brother, this is a bump in the road, losing 3-1 to a Swiss team that completely proved my analysis wrong in the sense that they balled out today. They look so good, so formidable, and honestly, shout out to them. They were incredible today, getting a 3-1 victory against a tough Hungarian side.
Well, that was the question, is that Switzerland in general, we know that they have really good talent. We know that they have good players. And 3 years ago at the Euros, we saw how deep that they actually could go, right? So the question was, what version of Switzerland were we going to get at this Euros? Because they were so poor at the World Cup. But I think they showed today the actual level that they can achieve. And because they killed Hungary, bro.
Yeah,
they killed them.
They killed it. Folks, we're getting ready for a party tonight, so you might see some action happening around the house. It's producer Rudd's birthday party. Send W's in the chat. That's why we got some activity in the house. Pops just came through with the beers, I think. I'm not even sure, but the drinks are getting rolling. We're going to have a party after this stream, so W's in the chat for producer Rudd. W's in the chat for producer Rudd. But yeah, man, Switzerland was amazing. And honestly, what surprised me was, first off, how they got their goals, because that was my biggest question for Switzerland is who's going to stand out for them? And then seeing that up top,
it was Quadwo Dua, bro.
The Ludo Goretz player.
Yes, and I think that kind of shows you the number 9 position for Switzerland is wide open. We talked about that in the preview. I was not expecting Dua to be the starter, though.
Bro, what a finish, though.
What a finish, man.
Crazy.
And also the run. He rode that back line perfectly, staying an inch onside, a beautiful through ball, and he took it so coolly. Switzerland up 1-0, and I was like, oh, okay, like they came to play, bro. And then from that moment on, bro, it became very clear that Hungary were not ready for this match.
They weren't ready for it, especially
ready
in that first half. Oh, my God, they got dominated. I thought the midfield for Switzerland just completely took control. Granit Xhaka was putting on a beautiful display in the midfield and Freuler as well. And then the other player that I thought reminded me of the typical type of guy that Soltero tends to enjoy, which was the guy who scored the second goal. Abisher.
Yeah.
Scoring a banger, bro, and providing the assist in that first goal, too.
Yeah, he did. What a beautiful goal, by the way. Picks his spot, uses a defender as a shield, curls it ever so slightly around him. Keeper gets a little blindsided, but it is perfectly placed. Switzerland go up 2-0 right before the half, too. And that was a crucial moment. That basically put this game to bed. Hungary maybe could have felt confident trying to come out in the second half to get the goal back, but 2-0 down, and the way Switzerland were playing up until that point, it just was not looking good for Hungary whatsoever. But beyond those 2 goals, man, Switzerland dictated the pace of this game in every single facet, bro. Every single ball that Hungary had was met by Swiss body. There was so much pressure in that midfield. Hungary simply could not string together more than 3 passes. The Swiss pressure was way too much. Way too much. We had who was it? It was Hungary getting about a 20-30 minute stint where they started to play a little bit more of that classic Hungarian style football that we saw in qualification. Honestly, you got a goal out of it. Yeah.
You got a goal out of it. So I was surprised with the beautiful Dominik Szoboszlai assist coming in, and it was Varga who scored the goal to get it past Jan Sommer to make it 2-1. But then after that, I was hoping for maybe a resurgence from this Hungarian team. But Switzerland ended up shutting it down with the big defensive mistake happening at the back. And your boy Embolo
took it well, man.
Had something on like his leg fall off in the process.
I think it was like a knee brace that got loose.
It was weird, bro. It was bizarre. And then finishes up over the goalkeeper Gulashi, and Swiss scenes, man. Swiss scenes just completely slicing apart this defense, getting their 3rd goal and putting the game to rest.
Yeah, it was. Are we good?
Yeah, that's just the internet.
Oh, okay, yeah, my bad. But yeah, absolute dominant performance from Switzerland. For Hungary, though, I think this was the worry, right? How much does qualification really mean? And for a team that doesn't have any sort of major star power other than Dominik Szoboszlai, would they get nervous on the biggest stage of Europe? And ultimately, I think they did, man, because they just could not show up. Everybody had a really poor game. Szoboszlai got back into the game in the second half, I would say, and that's the thing. He had to come deep for the ball, but it was better when Szoboszlai has the ball more. That's when Hungary have a little bit more joy. It's when they hold the ball a little bit better. They get more creative. But that just wasn't happening in the first half. Hungary are going to have to change a lot, especially mentally, for the next games that are to come if they want to get out of this group now.
What's coming is going to be tough.
It's going to be tough.
A matchup against Germany and then a matchup against Scotland. They have to win the Scotland matchup, and then against Germany, they got to hope for a miracle and pull off a crazy upset to be able to get out of the group in second. They might be able to get out of the group in third if they completely trashed Scotland, but it's looking much more difficult now. They're definitely not getting first place like how I predicted, man. That's the saddest part, because I saw that magic in Hungary, but I agree. I think ultimately the big stage, the bright lights got to them. They just couldn't get into their flow. They couldn't get settled into this match. And Switzerland took advantage of that, because that experience of having been in these stages, guys like Ricardo Rodriguez, only 31 years old and playing in another Euros, it showcased itself today, man. So shout out to Switzerland getting this result. Looking at all 3 matches, I want to ask some general questions, because usually I ask man of the match. Usually I ask, worst player of the game. But since we had 3 games today, I'm gonna make it a little bit more broad. Who scored the goal of the day?
Goal of the
day, guys. Who's got the goal? Is it Barella with a beautiful outside the boot volley? Is it Fabian Ruiz with a crazy Techers movement and then finish? Is it Lamine Yamal's beautiful assist to Carvajal? Is it Embolo? Who's got the goal of the day? You know I'm already going with Fabian Ruiz.
Oh, yeah. That nice little double shimmy. Honestly, I'm going to go by Rami's goal, dude. It was crazy, man. I couldn't believe it, especially taking everything into context. The fact that it was 20 seconds into the match against Italy. And if you're Albanian, you're hoping for the best, but you weren't hoping for a goal a minute into the match. And also, if you add the fact that Barami scored a screamer as well, it's my favorite goal of the day by far.
The moment was
insane, man.
Yeah, Michael Talks Football says 3 things are guaranteed in life. Italy produce amazing looking suits, amazing balsamic vinegar, and quality center backs. Bastoni and Calafiori, wow. He's right, dude. He's right. The center backs
were incredible.
And that's something we talked about in our previews, was like, how are these young center backs going to fare now that they're trying to shift that generation that we were so well known for in the past 2010s. Bastoni and Calafiori look like the future now. They're doing great work so far. I'm seeing shouts for Barella's goal easily. Honestly, you guys got to give it to Albania. History was made with the fastest goal ever in Euros.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I really am. Okay, now I want to ask, who is the player of the day? Who had the best performance today? Out of 3 games, what player stood out to you the most? I think UEFA awarded Granit Xhaka the man of the match for the Swiss game. I'm guessing Fabian Ruiz got it for the Spain game.
He should have, yeah.
And then for Italy,
it should be Bastoni.
Yeah, Bastoni.
And that's the thing is, for me, my favorite duo of the day was Bastoni and Calafiori. The way they dominated the match, the way that they almost dictated a lot of play from deep, especially when the ball is at Calafiori's feet, and then just knowing that they're an absolute brick wall at the back. They were able to take care of anything that Albania threw at them. For me, it's Bastoni, Calafiori. If I have to pick one, I'll go Bastoni since he got a goal.
Fair shout. I like what the chat is saying here. Fabian Ruiz, 2 impactful moments, getting the first assist and then the second goal for Carvajal for Spain, basically ending the game with his own performance in the match. I'm going to go with him, but there's some good shouts here. Jorginho played decent as well. Di Marco, Rodri for Spain completely controlled the game.
Oh, yeah.
We saw some good performances today. And now we move over to match ratings. Let's rate these matches. First off, Italy versus Albania. What's the score on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of entertainment, quality seen on the pitch, scenes, atmosphere? What do you give the Albania-Italy game?
I'll give it a 7. I'll give it a solid 7. The game was honestly
kind of like a 9 out of 10.
It could have been a 9 out of 10, and it was a 9 out of 10 for the first 7 minutes for sure. Yeah. But the game was pretty much over by the 20th minute. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm at you. I'll go 7 out of 10 on this one. Chat mainly agrees with us on that. Let's go over to Spain, Croatia. This could have been a really strong one, but because Spain just completely controlled it, man, I'm going to go 7 out of 10 on this one. Maybe 7.5 because of the moments we saw from Spain today.
I'm going 7.5 because all 3 goals were absolutely brilliant. Knowing that it was against a tougher opponent in Croatia too, I think adds to that fact. Spain won in style today. They entertained the hell out of me. I'm giving it at least a 7.5.
Big Moan, Spain 10 out of 10. Captain Crunch Guy, I love you, Captain Crunch Guy. He says 5 out of 10. Camille 7 out of 10. Spain 7 out of 10. Last game is Switzerland versus Hungary. Oh, this one's interesting. Let me think about this one. What you got?
I'm also going 7.5 because Switzerland played a nearly perfect game. Seriously. Other than that one header goal that they conceded, this was a perfect game from Switzerland. In both halves, they scored some brilliant goals as well. They were very effective defensively, but they were surprisingly clinical offensively. I've got to give this one a 7.5 too because the Swiss showed up today.
7 out of 10 from the chat is what it looks like. Greg Paris says I give it a 6, was mid. Christopher Molina, 8 out of 10, 8.5 for the Swiss, says Wesley. We got some good shouts here. And honestly, I think the Euros have delivered so far with some big goal-scoring fest right off the bat, man. I mean, Switzerland 3-1, Spain, Croatia 3-0, Italy, Albania 2-1. After what we saw yesterday, 5-1, Germany, Scotland. It's a ton of goals. I wonder if they're nearing like a record here for like the first 4 games.
Yeah, as far as goals are concerned, we're getting treated insanely well. What's really interesting, though, is that so far, all 4 games have been one-sided, though. Right, even though Italy-Albania was only a 1-goal margin, Italy dominated for basically 85 minutes of the match. It's really interesting to see what first game will be where it's actually back and forth. The game probably should have ended in a draw. Maybe someone gets a steal goal or something like that at the end. I wonder what game that's going to be. I thought it was going to be Spain-Croatia, but it wasn't. The game was over by the 25th minute, man. So I'm really curious to see what's going to be the tight game at the Euros because we've had 4 almost blowouts, almost.
People are saying it's going to be England tomorrow because you know how England does. You know, they create drama. Exactly. But let's quickly preview tomorrow's matches. We have Slovenia versus Denmark. What's the result going to be for Slovenia versus Denmark tomorrow? Chat, let me know. This one is probably going to be one of the more... actually, that's the second game of the match. My fault. Second game of the match, but regardless, we'll commit to it. Slovenia, Denmark. How do you see this game faring out?
This group is really open. I see Slovenia and Denmark as equals, honestly. So, I was asking for a tight game. This might be it. I'll be curious to see what version of Denmark we get because they've just been really inconsistent as of late. But for Slovenia, this is a massive moment. It'll be fun to see players that I enjoy, like Šeško and my boy Jan Oblak. So that'll be a really special moment for me personally. As far as who I think will win, I guess Denmark. Although I could see this one ending in a draw.
I think this is gonna be tight.
Yeah,
I think this could be tight, man. Because I don't know if I trust this Danish Danish team.
Oh, I don't trust him at all,
bro.
I don't trust him at all.
I think I agree with the chat. Captain Crunch Guy says 2-2 draw. Camille says 3-1 Denmark. Denmark easy control says Asoka. And then I'm seeing some shouts for Sesko getting on the board. I want to see Sesko ball out, man, because I keep hearing so much about him and the role that he's going to have. I want to see him just ball out and showcase his talent. The first game of the day will be Poland versus Netherlands. We skipping this one?
Yeah, bro. I mean, this should just be a nice training session for the Dutch. This should be an easy win. We'll continue the blowout trend here.
Imagine, though, if Poland gets a result, bro. Imagine. We've been hating on this Polish team.
A draw would be, honestly, a miracle for Poland at this point, especially when you consider both of the teams' form. But I'm going Netherlands. It should be Netherlands. It'd be disastrous, I think, if Poland are able to get a draw.
Already, the surprise of Switzerland and everything I said about them in the previews, if it happens again with Poland, after the way we spoke about them, that one's going to piss me off.
There's no way it can.
There's no way, right?
Switzerland actually have quality players.
Yeah, there's no way Poland figures this out, man. Captain Crunch Guy, it says Poland's going to win 3-2.
Oh, my God.
Jesus, man. 3 goals from where?
Hey, maybe we get a classic then in Germany.
That'd be crazy.
Poland, Netherlands.
That'd be crazy. Wesley says Netherlands 3-0. Simon says Netherlands 3-0.
I'm thinking 3.
This might be a blowout. Dude.
Yeah.
It might be a blowout. Last game of the day. This should be fun. Serbia against England.
Has to be England. I mean, if Germany have showed up, if Spain have showed up, and we consider those guys as title contenders, well, England are my favorites. They have to show up. I think they know the pressure that's at hand for them. They know that the media expects this team to play just as good as Germany, to play just as good as Spain and Italy. So all that considered, I have England, beating Serbia for sure. Maybe 2-0, 3-0, something like that.
I need England to shut everybody up and just showcase that they're on that same level as a title contender in this tournament. I need a 2-0, 3-0 type result. I want to see players ball out, Bellingham, Foden, whoever starts. I want to see Southgate get it right because, bro, any other result that isn't a win here is immediately going to put so much pressure on this English team, and that's not going to be good for them, I think. Ultimately, that is not a good thing. Tying or losing is just going to cause mass hysteria for this English side, so I need to see them get a result. And I just don't trust Serbia, man. I really don't. After what I've seen from them in the past 2 years, especially at the World Cup, that defense is wide open, man. Dude. It's wide open.
I'm hoping that they can at least mark up to England offensively. That'd be fun. If they're able to generate maybe 3 or 4 genuine chances throughout the entire match, that's all I'm asking for from Serbia. That's about it. But defensively, I just can't trust them to hold back England's juggernaut offense.
Simon Azarbar says 3-2 Serbia. Vlahovic hat-trick. Holy shit. Johnny says England are winning 4-1. Asoka Tano says 3-1 England. Noor says Serbia got no chance. I agree with you guys completely.
I just don't think they do.
Completely. The last thing I want to speak about, and I want to know the chat, I want to know what you guys think about this topic, actually has nothing to do with the Euros. I just really wanted to get your reaction. Did you hear what Ronaldinho said today?
No, what did he say?
Ronaldinho had an interview with, I don't know who, maybe it was like a YouTuber, an interviewer, and said that he will not be supporting or watching the Brazilian team, that the current state they are in is the worst state he has seen any Brazilian team be in, and that it doesn't encapsulate the Brazilian soul. They play with no heart, they have no grit, and he is done with this team. Win or lose, he will not be supporting or watching them this entire Copa America run.
Damn.
Oh, shit, and I didn't exaggerate, too. That's what he said.
Lord.
That's what he said, bro.
That's harsh. That sounds really harsh.
It's so harsh.
Now, what he's saying honestly makes sense. You've seen the Brazil performances we talked about in our Copa America preview, bro. Like, they're mid-table in South American qualifying for the World Cup. That is a sight that I have never seen. And didn't they just lose their first World Cup qualifier at home for the first time in their history? Something absolutely ridiculous. So as far as statistics are concerned, this is a new low for Brazil. So Dino's not wrong about that whatsoever.
It's not wrong.
And when you look at the way that they do play, I mean, if you compare it to the way Argentina play, there's definitely less passion. Definitely, man.
No.
So if you expect Brazil to be on par with Argentina, there is a massive difference.
Oh, that's for sure. It's just funny because, like, for example, today, like, Iniesta posted a picture of him and his family and his baby sitting down and watching Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. Meanwhile, Ronaldinho's shitting on the Brazilian team and being like, you guys will amount to nothing. You do not compare to us whatsoever. And then Rafinha is the first Brazilian player to come out and respond to the statement. And he claims that Ronaldinho texted Vinny asking for tickets to one of their games. And Vinny, like, completely ghosted him, basically. And so Ronaldinho's just salty about that interaction. Therefore, he, like, said something negative in the media.
Rafinha said
That's what Rafinha said. He came with receipts and shit.
He's getting in on it.
He's getting in on it.
Dude.
It's the most bizarre situation. But I think it's a sign of where Brazil is right now and how they're taking that 3-2 barely victory against Mexico in a friendly, and then also tying USA 1-1. They're taking it hard.
They're disjointed, man.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is great news because they're on the side of the USA bracket. So, let's go, man.
I'm telling you.
I'll take that.
Christopher Molina says, I think he's right. Brazil won't go to the final this tournament. I mean, he could end up being right. That's the thing. He really could.
Yeah.
Ahsoka Town says, no passion, only ego on the team. And then Ivancito G says, low-key with Danilo as your captain, it just ain't the same as we're used to. That is true. If we're talking about aura, about what player represents, Danilo captaining this team is just so different from the greats we've seen for Brazil. But I just think Brazil has so much talent. Like, they could easily pop off at any moment.
That's the thing.
I don't like this idea of just being totally against them. You got to support your team, man.
Yeah. You shouldn't be. Yeah, that's true. Because those words are so harsh, which is crazy considering that, their entire starting 11 play at the best teams in Europe.
Like, Mexico deserves these words, not Brazil, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to try to hurt their confidence right now in this moment, days before the tournament starts. That's all my perspective is. But you're right. He may not be wrong about this. And I just wonder how much it's going to end up actually impacting the Brazilian team.
Dude, I wonder.
Yeah. Guys, let us know in the chat. What did you think? And once again, thank you guys so much for watching today's stream. 3 back-to-back games. And we'll be back tomorrow with the same damn thing. Make sure to like the stream on your way out. Subscribe, comment, and everything, because we'll be covering the Euros and Copa America as well as OFC Nations Cup for the next 30 days.
Sir.
Join the Give and Go. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Peace.